Alright, this is just going to be kind of a update video to my previous build. Still using the Bloodspawn, the Werewolf Hide. This is a 5-1-1 build, the 5 being medium armor, everything's impenetrable, and I've got one heavy, one light, everything else is medium. As far as the glyphs, I've got 3 tri-stack glyphs, one on the head, one on the chest, one on the legs, the larger pieces, to give me a little bit more health and that sort of thing. Everything else is stamina, and everything here is impenetrable as well as a shield. So my other set is Hunting's Rage, and I have everything glyphed in the protective traits. This gives me a pretty good bit of resistance. It got nerfed this patch a little bit, but it's still worthwhile to have. I've also got a Hunting's Rage Axe, which is infused with the disease damage. Now, disease damage, the reason I use this glyph is because this gives your enemy about a 15% healing debuff, plus what I have in the champion points. I've got another 22%, so you figure about a 37% healing debuff, which is helpful to you. Good to have. So now I've got a Tristat on the shield as well, and I've got something kind of interesting here. I got this idea from a friend of mine today, using the powered axe. Now the reason for that is increases my healing done by 4.5%. So if you go here, resolving vigor, right now it's at 15,415. Let's just say I replace that. Now I come over and it's a little bit less, as you can see. So this is worth it to have this on there. Now the reason I kind of do this way is because normally in a fight I'll go in and I'll hit him with these Venomous Claw and Noxious Breath. The Noxious Breath actually takes away some of their resistance, which makes my front bar work even better, so I'll hit him with these two. And then I'll switch bars and I'll go to work with my two-handed bar. But I just thought I'd go ahead and show you as well. Some of this stuff really got a buff. Cauterize, this is a really good skill to work in conjunction with Resolving Vigor. Venomous Claw, you can see the stats there. Initial hit for 5,000 and an initial 20,000. Noxious Breath, you're looking at about a 76, about a 7,700 hit on the initial, and then an additional 10,000 after that. Buffed up, my Resolving Vigor is 17,290, and in part that is amplified by the powered axe. And one of the other reasons I went with this is the glyph on the one hand gets reduced by half, whereas the poison doesn't. Which brings me to another point. I'm using the drain health poisons. They do damage to your target, but they heal you as well, and the healing on these is really pretty good. It works out to be quite a bit, and the poison, of course, does some damage as well. Now, with this combo, using the powered axe and the health poisons, I've been able to stand inside of some of the boss's circles, like the ice guy and the fire guy. I forget their names. They kind of make them complicated, but I've been able to stand in their circles and tank them, which for a medium armor build is pretty good. I use these two skills together. This one really isn't that much, but paired up with Resolving Vigor, it'll give you quite a bit of healing. So this is just something to keep in mind when you're out there. So when I come up to a boss or somebody, I'll have my potion, and that'll give me a good critical rating. Start. And as you can see, it went pretty fast. One of the reasons is you have these two working in the background for you while you're trying to do DPS. This one lasts 12 seconds, this one lasts 12 seconds. You got these two in the background. They're not likely going to be able to heal through that. Whereas the whole time you're on this bar, basically if you get low in health, what you can do just heal and block, and basically you can get out of just about any situation like that. Using the crit potions will also increase your critical heals as well. So this is actually going to crit at a higher number. This heals you over 4 seconds, but this number is likely to be 40% of the time. It's going to times itself by 1.785 on my build at least, in part just due to the champion points, where I have critical damage and critical healing with stamina abilities by 19%. So that's just something to consider. I guess I can go through the champion points again really quick. Now these are just where I have them. You may want to do something a little different according to your playstyle. I like having a lot in break free, and I like being able to move around fairly quickly. Medium armor allows you to do that. This also gives my horse or my mount, whatever you call it, a good bit of endurance. This one doesn't get tired no matter how far you're sprinting with him. I've got stamina recovery by 12%. I've got some magicka recovery. Now keep in mind, some of this stuff is like Sprinter. If you have a lot of points here, you're not going to lose a lot of stamina anyway by sprinting around, so you should be okay there. I've got some points into me foul. I could have more points there, but I don't right now. Some points into Blessed, 9%. Master at Arms. Thaumaturge, this gives me a little bit more in terms of damage over time. Of course, Precise Strikes, Piercing, and Mighty. Here I have Ironclad with direct damage reduced by 19%. I have some into medium armor focus. I have some into resistant for critical resist. I have 37 points here, reduces your damage taken over time. I found that to be really helpful. And of course, 37 into Hardy, 37 into Elemental Defender. And I also have another 9% here, and this 9% kind of goes hand in hand with this 9%, which gives me another 18% healing. So basically that's kind of why my healing is as jacked up as it is. For a medium armor build, I'm pretty hard to kill because I can basically heal for just about anything. So anyway, I guess that's about it there. I guess I should go through the skills a little bit just to, because a lot of this stuff got really buffed. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through some of the skills.
We crack the center of the Mundus, split the veil wide, and Cold Harbor will swallow it whole.
Dizzying Swing got a lot faster, and it got a little bit of a buff as well. Crit Rush, that went from an additional 40% to an additional 50%. That got kind of a nice buff. Reverse Slice, I forget what it was before, but it seemed like it was pretty much the same. Forward Momentum is the morph I use. The other one is Rally, and I guess it heals you. But this one gives you Major Brutality, increase your weapon damage by 20%, as well as getting Minor Endurance, increasing your stamina recovery by 10% for 20 seconds. So this works pretty well, and it seems to stack with potions, so it also removes snares and that sort of thing. Of course, I have Take Flight. I'll have that somewhere. That one pretty much stayed the same. What really changed here in this patch was these two, Venomous Claw and Noxious Breath. Now if you go to the Fighters Guild, Barbed Trap really got a buff as well, and that may be something you want to consider using. That's really quite a bit of damage, and it also gives you minor force. When you have a fairly high crit build like this one, that really comes into play. Your critical damage is going to be increased by 10%. So this is actually something you could consider. But let's see what else. This is a really good skill as well.
Of the day drought is admirable in its own way.
Shifting Standard, This is kind of an expensive ultimate, but on this build, you gain ultimate really quickly, so you'll basically get here in no time. This does 3387 flame damage every 1 second, which to anybody standing in that circle is quite a bit, and it applies major defile, which is 36%. You add that on to the 22%, all of a sudden now we're up to 58% of a healing debuff, and it lasts for 29 seconds. So let's see, you can figure it out, the math, 29 times 3387, that's quite a bit. This is a pretty good morph for bosses and that sort of thing, and you can also relocate it as well. So I guess now that it's up, I could probably show you guys. Okay. This is what it looks like. This is how big it is. Just to give you an idea for those of you that aren't familiar with it. And if I hit the ultimate button again, I can bring it over here. That's so if the fight moves around, you can actually just keep bringing it to different locations in the fight. And of course now it went out, but anyway, that's just something to consider. This tends to kind of get ignored a lot, but it's a really good ultimate to use. Of course, I've got corrosive armor, and that's a really good one to have as well. This will make all your attacks stronger because all your attacks basically ignore any resistance, and you put out quite a bit of poison damage to nearby enemies as well. But anyway, I think I covered everything. The main point being using the powered axe right along with the poisons. Of course, remember your axe, the glyph on that, even though it'll proc all the time, is halved. But the poisons, the damage on them remains the same. So this is kind of what you want to be using on your back bar. So basically, if I get in trouble, I can come back to my back bar and heal, and on this build it pretty much heals you through anything. So yeah, I guess that's about it. So anyway, I hope you guys have found this video helpful, and I guess I'll see you guys out there. Take care.